Hey, 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 family. Another day to get better. Everyday life offers us two choices. We can remain where we are, or we can rise just a little bit higher. So, what I'm covering today is I'm going to define values. I'm going to say what the importance of values are, and I am going to read from the information that I've been given um, the criteria that um, allows something to be a value. So, without further ado, life values are important because they act as a guiding compass, shaping our identity, providing a sense of purpose, and influencing our decisions, allowing us to live a life that truly aligns with what matters to us, leading to greater fulfillment and authenticity. They help us to decide whether preferences or events are good or bad, right or wrong, desirable or worthless, important or insignificant. Values become the basic determiners of perceptions, opinions, and attitudes. Using values will always mean going through certain processes: motivation, selection, evaluation. Values have also a social function. Those derived from commonality of experience unite families, tribes, societies, and nations. So, defining values. Unless something satisfies all seven of these criteria, we do not call it a value. In other words, for a value to result, all of the following seven requirements must apply. Collectively, they describe the process of valuing. Results of the valuing process are called values. So the seven criteria, I'm going to list each of the criteria off, and there's an explanation of what it means. So the first criteria is you have to be choosing freely. So if something is in fact to guide your life, whether or not authority is watching, it must be a result of free choice. If there is coercion, the result is not likely to stay with you very long, especially when out of range of that source of coercion. Values must be freely selected if they are to be really valued by the individual. So I had to choose freely. The second criteria is choosing from alternatives, from among alternatives. This definition of values is concerned with things that are chosen by the individual, and obviously, there can be no choice if there are not alternatives from which to choose. It makes no sense, for example, to say that you value eating. You really have no choice in the matter. What one may value are certain types of food or certain forms of eating, but not eating itself. We must all obtain nourishment to exist. There is no room for decision. Only when a choice is possible, when there is more than one alternative from which to choose, do we say that a value can result. The third criteria or requirement is choosing after thoughtful consideration of the consequences of each alternative. So, impulsive or thoughtless choices do not lead to values as we define them. For something intentionally and meaningfully to guide one's life, it must emerge from a weighing and an understanding. Only when the consequences of each of the alternatives are clearly understood can one make intelligent choices. There is an important cognitive factor here. A value can emerge only with thoughtful consideration, of the range of the alternatives and consequences in a choice. The fourth requirement or criteria is prizing and cherishing. We value something. It has a positive tone. We prize it, cherish it, esteem it, respect it, hold it dear. We are happy with our values. A choice, even when we have made it freely and thoughtfully, may be a choice we are not happy to make. We may choose to fight in a war when sorry circumstances make the choice reasonable. In our definition, values flow from choices that we are glad to make. We prize and cherish the guides of life that we call values. The fifth requirement and criteria for something to actually be a value. Now these aren't my definitions. I'm not even sure where these definitions came from, but I was given them as part of my treatment program, part of my classes of changing my way of living. But the fifth one is affirming. When we have chosen something freely after consideration of the alternatives, and when we are proud of our choice, glad to be associated with it, we are likely to affirm that choice when asked about it. We are willing to publicly affirm our values. We may even be willing to champion them. If we are ashamed of a choice, or if we would not make our position known when appropriately asked, we would not be dealing with values. It would be something else. Acting upon choice is number 6 criteria or requirement for something to be a value. Where we have a value, it shows up in aspects of our living. So, acting upon choice. Where we have a value, it shows up in aspects of our living. We may do some reading about things we value. We are likely to form friendships or be in organizations in ways that nourish our values. We may spend money on a choice we value. We budget time or energy for our values. In short, for a value to be present, life itself must be affected. Nothing can be a value that does not, in fact, give direction to actual living. The person who talks about something and never does anything about it is dealing with something other than a value. And the seventh and final criteria or requirement for something to be a value is repeating. Where something reaches the stage of a value, it is very likely to reappear on a number of occasions in the life of the person who holds it. It shows up in several different situations at several different times. We would not think of something that appeared once in a lifetime and never again as a value. Values tend to have a persistency. They tend to make a pattern in our life. So that's the 7 criteria. You can definitely rewind and listen to those again, write them down. It's actually beneficial to write things down, so when you hear it, you got a pen and paper and you write down what you hear, maybe read it aloud. It makes more sense and it brings it to life. So, to review this definition, we see values as based on 3 processes: choosing, prizing, and acting. Choosing, you have to choose freely, you choose from alternatives, and you choose after thoughtful consideration of the consequences of each alternative. Prizing is cherishing, being happy with the choice, willing to affirm the choice publicly. And acting, doing something with the choice repeatedly in some pattern of life. So that's the criteria for something to be a value. This list of values does not include every value of every person. As I read the explanations and examples, remember these things. Each value can lead to behavior that is either healthy, which is positive, or unhealthy, which is negative. We choose our values. They are not forced upon us. We are happy with our values and let other people know what they are. Values show up in our everyday behavior, not just once in a while. This is a long list of values, and it will take a long time to read. So basically, I'll read off these first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's in alphabetical order. I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 pages full. So value 1 is achievement. So a person can put value on achievement. You want to accomplish something. So I'm going to say the value, and I'm going to give the meaning per this paperwork that I have, and then an examples of behavior, which is positive or negative. Okay, so achievement. You want to accomplish something. You want a meaningful job. Examples of behavior. Positive, you enroll in a job training program. Negative, you lie on your resume. So you don't really value achievement then if you lie on your resume? That's what I'm assuming. But the next one is affection. You express warmth and caring. You show your feelings and emotions. Positive, you thank someone who helped you or had an impact on your life. Negative, you hug people when you first meet them. Why is that negative? You hug people when you first meet them. Third value. See, my grandma says if you carry the Holy Spirit in you, you pass that on to somebody when you hug them. So agree with it if you want to. You don't agree with it if you want to. You don't want to. How is that negative? If you know why hugging people when you first meet them is negative behavior, when you have affection as a value, let me know in the comments. I'm interested to see if anybody agrees with that. Aesthetics. You appreciate beauty and culture. Positive, you go to concerts, plays, and museums. Negative, you take an art book from the library. I can see that one, stealing a damn library book. But value is balance. You pay attention to all parts of your life. So positive is you take time for yourself, your work, your family, and friends. Negative, you don't take any time off. Okay, so it says each value can lead to behavior that is either healthy or unhealthy. Healthy would be positive, and unhealthy is negative. Okay. Belonging. You want to be part of your family, organization, or community. Positive is you contribute to a family function, you join healthy organizations, or you volunteer at associations in your community. Negative is you go with using friends to the bar instead of to your AA meeting. Okay. I can see that one too. And Challenge is a value. You like complicated questions and tasks. Positive, you look for someone to teach you to rock climb. Negative, you take risks impulsively. All right. So I'm gonna do a second video on defining values, because I still have one whole page, two whole pages, three whole pages here, and I don't want to make the video too long. And I think I'm gonna read over these and see if they make sense before I even do this. But thanks for watching. I'm gonna be finishing up the videos on defining values. And as I said, values are important because they act as a guiding compass in our life, shaping our identity. Okay, and our identity, that's all part of that subconscious mind, the parts that our mental programming that we're trying to change if we're going to change behaviors. And but yeah, and it gives us a sense of purpose. And values give us a sense of purpose. They influence our decisions, allowing us to live a life that truly aligns with what matters to us, leading to greater fulfillment and authenticity. So they help guide us, okay? Maybe you could, I'm going to actually see if I can't find another list of values, but I mean, besides the ones that I just said, I'll go ahead and read them off. But competence, competition, creativity, education, financial security, honesty, independence, intimacy, leadership, pleasure, personal power, purpose, recognition, self-growth, service, spirituality, tradition, understanding, variety, work. I'll go ahead and give examples here. I had to fill out this sheet as part of the treatment here. And it says that success in recovery does not mean reading and working through each assignment systematically until one day you are done. A successful recovery is a program of exercising skills in all aspects of living on a daily basis, placing a focus on recovery at all times every day. Before you entered this program, what were the addiction or criminal values that you lived by? List 3 values and the behaviors you displayed that supported them. 1. Before entering treatment and deciding to make sobriety my number one priority, I valued my relationships with the people at a certain bar and with friends and coworkers that drank and used. I valued my job because I could use around my boss or with my boss, and I could work when I wanted, when I needed money to go out and get messed up or whatever. 2, I valued the way other people saw me, how others viewed me, and if they didn't think about me the way I wanted, I didn't have them around me. I measured my self-worth by the acceptance of others. Number 3, I valued being an addict, coming from a dysfunctional family, and not having any real responsibilities because these gave me reasons to continue the way I was living. I valued being powerless over chemicals because this made my use okay with me. Looking back on your life from today, what effect did these values have on the following areas of your life? Financially, healthy or positive effects. I understand the importance of a solid credit history and the importance of living on a budget and the important role of steady employment. Destructive or negative? Financially, I have absolutely no physical property other than what I walk out of CIP with, which is Challenge Incarceration Program that I took this class in. So basically, the destructive or negative effect of financially. So looking back on your life from today, what affected these values up here? Those 3 values, and down here is the effect. Okay. I have absolutely no physical property other than what I walk out of the challenge incarceration program with. I owe collection agencies close to $30,000. I put financial strain on others as well. Emotionally, healthy or positive, I am learning to accept my emotions, experience them, and know they will pass, and I do not have to react to them in a negative manner. Destructive or negative effect, I was completely emotionally illiterate. I displayed emotional overreaction. I was lonely, sad, and unhappy. I caused unpleasant emotions in others. Intimate relationships. I have learned that these relationships require honesty. I have learned to put myself in others' positions, consider injury to others, and treat others how I want to be treated. Destructive or negative. These values made my intimate relationships very unstable and chaotic. These values ended some of my relationships. Family relationships. I have learned that life on this planet is very short. I realize that these are important relationships, family relationships, that I value, and I want to start acting in a way to show it. Negative or destructive in the past, I used with some of my family members. I introduced family members to the lifestyle. I hurt those family members that led responsible lives. Sexually, I do not need sex like I used to. I don't view sex the same. I want to get married before I have sex anymore. I do not lust over women like I used to. And destructive and negative in the past, I made some irresponsible decisions and participated in unsafe sex. I was selfish. I was living an immoral life. Yeah, so we'll get more into some values, defining what values are. Because remember, we have to. I've stated in a previous video that when I got sober for the last time, that I started to place some value on where I was headed in life and what my life was going to turn out like. And so yeah, I think values are important. Integrity had become a value for me. Doing the right thing when no one else is watching. When only I'm the only one that knows what I did. That became important to me because the only one that really matters is yourself. But for now, I'm going to end that video there. Love you. Keep pushing forward. Never give up. Just because you've always done something does not mean we have to continue to do it. God bless.